All right, welcome to episode I don't even know of my FX Buddies, the podcast. It has been 7 days since my last recording, and that's because it has been boring. There's nothing really to talk about. There was one thing I was gonna come on and talk about, but it didn't make it. And more at that, let me do the things that I have to do that some people don't like, but I gotta do this. All right. My FX buddies can be found on a plethora of places on the internet. But let me talk about YouTube. If you are listening to this on YouTube, because indeed that is what you are doing, just listening, there's a box that appears to be a video, but it is not. If you look below that box, you'll see the word more. Click on the word more, another box opens, and it will have the link to the blog. And the blog has everything. It will have the full articles that I'm going to show, any information that I'm going to show in the video is all in one spot if you go there. This is going to be boring too. They just happened to put out 2 articles I thought I would share with you, but I really don't think anything's going to happen until after. Remember, they have this big financial meeting here somewhere, Washington or New York. I don't believe it is wherever they say it is anyway, until they show me pictures. And even then, that could be fake too. But anyway, somewhere, either in Washington or New York, they're going to have this big financial meeting at the end of this month. So that's one reason I don't think anything's going to happen, and I'll share with you. Oh, the TV's on. I apologize. Remember, I am not a professional, so forgive me. All right. RSS.com, my FX Buddies, has a transcript for those who find it hard to understand me. And Rumble.com is where the video's hosted, my FX Buddies. Spotify.com. Spotify is really trying to take market share from other places. I'll just say that. I get all this stuff from them all the time. They have meetings on how to grow your listenership and all this. They're really going to take off with video. So I guess their test with video went as well or better than they expected. So Spotify.com has video. I am my FX Buddies there also. And I think that is it. All right. So this, you can see the title of this has the spark ignited in the Iraqi dinar and the near total collapse. All right. So it's a weird title, right? My window's open. Forgive the noise. So here is Mustafa Hantoush. He should sound familiar. I mean, how can you forget that last name, Hantoush? But he's not with the CBI. He's just an economic expert. But they listen to him. He's interviewed on TV. Then his interviews are put in articles. So he said Saturday that the current thinking about changing monetary policies for the next stage is incorrect. So he's saying, yeah, we're going to the next stage, but the current thinking is incorrect, regardless of the people who will be nominated for the position of governor. And that's another thing that's going on, because there's power moves. That's just going to lead to corruption. It's Iranian-backed power trying to keep people in power that they want in power, right? So they still don't have a House Speaker, but they did put up 2 people. So for nominees or whatever. So it looks like they do intend on having a runoff election for that House Speaker position. So we'll see. They did settle 2 of however many missing governors there are with the approval of guess who? Yep, Maliki. So it's just all that stuff, political stuff. They're doing really good stuff too. Building schools. They're talking about education projects. stuff, even that port, the port that's going to be really big and good. But none of that has to do with the RV. It's good for their future. It's good for them, but it has nothing to do with the RV, so I don't talk about it. All right. So he says Iraq is currently going through a phase of almost complete collapse in monetary policies, which are the policy of preserving the national banking system, the policy of international monetary relations, the policy of protecting the local currency against foreign currencies. So then he has some more complaining. So, but what does he provide to not go into collapse? Nothing. Nothing at all. That's my phone. And you know why I say that? Because when I watch people's videos and I hear that, I check my phone. So I guess I presume other people do. So that's why I say that's my phone, so you don't have to check your phone. But yeah, he doesn't. He goes on to talk about other people's. Everyone's watching our Federal Reserve to see if they're gonna cut or how much they're gonna cut, right? So things like that. All right, that was that. But this one is what I wanted to bring, and it's not good. It starts out good, but it doesn't end good. But that's okay. That is okay. All right. So, is it time to remove the zeros? So we know, and another reason why I was glad to see this is they probably are still having these conversations. So it's been a week. It's been a week, right? And I didn't see anything. Remember the last the last thing that I brought was that interview, right? Where they had two, who was it? Safwan Kwase and that other guy. And what were they talking about? Deleting the zeros. I didn't see any articles about it, like I said. But so this is another, this guy here, Yasser Mutwali, which I could never get his picture to come. He's an economic analyst, probably been doing it for a while because he looks to be between 60 and 70, just from his picture. All right, so I'm watching their TV and it just got loud. Okay. He says there is an economic principle in the free market economy, capitalism, or whatever you call it. I like that because so we in this country are changing so many definitions of things. They're just not calling things as they should be. They're just making it up as they go along. But he says to treat the defect or distortion in the economic structure as a result of the shock. That is, accepting the financial, economic, and social effects of this measure in the hope of improving the economic reality. In order to clarify this principle and analyze its effect as a means of spreading economic culture, we will address the issue of deleting zeros from the currency in order to reduce its effect on the size of the monetary mass and the value of money. The more difficult and complex the solutions to reduce the dollar exchange rate between the official and parallel rates become, the more calls for the necessity of deleting zeros increase, believing that it is one of the solutions. Okay, that's good. Yes, we like him saying that, right? People are calling saying, hey, we need to delete the zeros. But then, oh wait. So, well, also the money mass, remember, in case you're someone that doesn't know, when they say monetary mass, that is usually, if you don't know, a lot of the Iraqis, they keep their money in their home, especially the 30 notes. I mean, millions and millions of dinars. And they all know they keep their dinars, and occasionally you'll hear a house was broken into and they stole 30 million dinars, no big deal. But yeah, so they're still, with all their efforts of offering CDs of 6.5%, 7%, they're still not turning in their notes because they know how valuable they are, right? But so if they remove the 3 zeros and they bring out new notes, the people will bring in the old notes, right? So that's one reason to do it. But also he talks about the advantages and disadvantages of removing the zeros. So this is a good article you might want to read. Okay, here. As for the disadvantages, deleting zeros will create countless social problems that we can do without at this stage due to the inability to convince the public to accept the decrease in the size of the monetary mass while acknowledging that the real value of the money is not affected. So I think that's what we want, right? Because we know they're not getting the millions we are. They're getting an increase in their purchasing power. So, the real value of the money is not affected. I don't know. The issue is related to the mind and the memory's preservation of large amounts and then the solution of commercial and personal contracts. So they're saying if we make this change, I really feel he's saying, which kind of makes me mad, the people aren't going to understand. Doesn't that sound? Read that for yourself and see if that's what he's saying. To convince the public. See, that, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So let me read that again. To convince the public to accept the decrease in the size of the monetary mass while acknowledging that the real value of the money is not affected. Yeah, so a 25K is going to go to a 25, but they're not losing that value. They're not. It's still going to spend the same, right? And he's saying he doesn't think they'll understand that. And I'm like, I bet they will. That's why they're hoarding their 3-0 notes, because I think they do understand that. But, what do our politicians and our really smart people think about us, right? That we're dumb. What do they call us? If you watch any stock shows, what do they call us? The dumb money. They're the smart money, we're the dumb money, right? They have all these lovely names for us. Why would it be any different in any other country? All right. So then he's talking about the contracts, rewriting the contracts, commercial and personal, and agreements, which would create disagreements and inability to reach an understanding. Boom, there it is. They won't be able to understand. That's, Plus, they've been training them, they've been teaching them for years, right? So of course they would. I mean, sure, a segment wouldn't, but it wouldn't take them long. And they didn't worry about that when they devalued their money, right? They devalued the money overnight. They weren't worried about the merchants and the low market people, how they were going to adjust to that. It's funny to me that they have these conversations after. Anyway, all right. So then he goes on to say, it is clear that the procedure of deleting zeros is not appropriate at this time. However, with the use of electronic payment operations, the environment will be mature and acceptable for the idea of implementing the decision to delete zeros, and the process will be automatic without the citizen feeling it. But is it time to issue the decision? And whoever you are, yes sir, whatever, I say yes, it is. We see that it is too early due to the recent introduction of electronic payment technology. And hold on, don't hang up, because we got some articles about that. So the electronic payment technology in commercial, market, official, and private transactions, the experience is still limited to absorbing such a transformation, and when the percentage of acceptance and use of electronic payment tools reaches 90% of citizens, oh heck no, we ain't waiting for that. Forgive me. We have no choice. They're only at like 47%, and we're in August, almost September. So, but anyway, Then the decision to delete zeros can be implemented easy and smoothly. Again, they didn't care about easy and smoothly when they devalued the money. And then overnight they said, okay, no more dollars. But here we are, they're still using dollars, some people, right? So that's a Bavarian sweet cream right there. It takes time to spread the culture. Look, spread the culture, which is another word for brainwashing, programming of electronic payment, and it is required to intensify media and advertising campaigns. And that's how they do it. That's how they get us too. Media and campaigns. It's programming, brainwashing. In such a case, the concerned authorities should reduce the cost of using electronic payment. Oh, I like that. And impose strict control over fraud and manipulation. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm sure you guys heard that Social Security numbers of about 2/3 of America they've been compromised. You heard that, right? So yeah, but technology is safe and secure, right? Okay. So if they do all that, the culture of electronic payment will expand. So, like I said, it sounded good, right? It started good, but then towards the end, he started saying they won't understand. And there was an article the other day where they straight out called the people simple, the simple people. Okay, so they don't, uh, whatever. All right, consensus on the acceptability of using electronic payments. Okay, between this says they're still trying to get people to work on developing their performance and making services provided rise to the level of international standards in an actual and serious manner. So they're not where they want to be, right? He pointed out that Iraq's goal is to attract advanced global efforts to the Iraqi work arena alongside the Iraqi effort. So they got to get up to match global companies. And they'll be limited until they change the rate, do the new money, right? Because the citizens don't have faith in them. And then I don't know when the last time Sudani was on TV telling them, hey, your rate's going to change. You're going to have more purchasing power. I don't know, because remember that article was talking about deleting the project of deleting 3 0 codes. Excuse me, that interview. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the previous blog of this one, and there was a 46-minute interview with 2 economic specialists, and that's pretty much all they talked about was the project of deleting the zeros. Yeah, and it's in English, so you just have to read it. All right. Then here they talk about, so back to this article here. It is noteworthy that the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Mohsen al-Alaq, said that the Central Bank of Iraq works side by side with the government program and the Prime Minister's direction to support electronic payments. Then they have numbers of how many transactions were taken and all that boring stuff. But it's all there. Okay, then they talk about the point of sale machines. All right. Oh, shoot. Okay. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to go out of order here. For those who are following along with video, we're skipping this for now. And an economist explains the failure of the electronic payment system at gas stations and calls stop working with the mechanism. So clearly it's not going too well. And it seems the only people that are complaining openly are gas stations. Well, actually, I did see a couple of restaurants complaining, but you know what I think they do? I think they give us cash, and that's it. Wouldn't even surprise me if they have the private ATMs. You know how you can, if you own a store, you can put a privately owned ATM, which I do not recommend using. in your store. If they have those, it wouldn't surprise me if restaurants don't have them. So, oh, our card system's not working. You can get cash out of that ATM right there. But anyway, so yeah, and this is a pretty lengthy article, and they talk about how, remember I said they talked to this guy who was making money, um, just sitting at different gas stations, and he would use a prepaid card that he had, and he would they would get their gas on the prepaid card, and he would take their cash, and there'd be a little bit of a fee for him, of course. Um, but even in this, they say the internet in Iraq is very weak, as we still use 3G technology. Well, wait, I thought they had all those newfangled cables and stuff in Baghdad, right? But not everywhere. In addition to that, oh wait, while in most countries of the world, 5G and even 7G. Does anyone know what 7G technology is? I never heard of that. I'm gonna look it up though. In addition to that, internet outages on the days of final exams, which makes matters worse, cause disruption. So when they have finals, they turn the internet off so the students can't cheat. Yes, they do that for 2 to 4 hours at a time. All right. So tell me how that works, right? So those two articles together, um, with this guy talking about it's not the right time, let's brainwash. I mean, let's run more media and educate the citizens more on why it's important to use the electronic payment system. Mm, no, let's not wait. Y'all work on that. Give us our new money and our new rate, right? Okay, so now this came out earlier this week. Attracting investors and limiting currency smuggling. Specialists explain the importance of digitizing Iraqi banks. There you go. It's some more digitizing. So these are the banks, right? And they're all going that way. So you could read that if you like. And it still doesn't help. They just caught someone with 500 cards at the airport with money on them. So they still are, doing their crimes. So you could read that if you like. This is my one commercial. This is a um, little thing. If you have discomfort, aches, and pains, you might want to check into this. It's a little patch, and here's the actual size of the patch that you put on. Helps your body generate your own stem cells. So if you want to learn about that, go to the blog and click on that. It takes you to more information. Okay, so we already talked about that. Here, it's boring when they're still talking about the CBI building. But I know there's someone that did ask me if I had current pictures of the CBI. And guess what? Ask and you shall receive recent photos of the development of the construction of the Central Bank of Iraq Tower in Baghdad. And then they talk about the building. And so it looks like they are pretty much done. So if you want to, you can look. It looks like there's still just a little bit at the top that needs to be completed. So, and I think they are working in this building. I think this is the central bank building that they work out of, because all the bottom floors are done. Uh, they just haven't had their official opening, right? Remember that one they're going to have either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Remember that article? So, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're working out of this building, just at the lower floors. I could be wrong, though. All right. So I think we're almost done. Yeah. So here, Parliament demands that Sadani fulfill his promise to end the acting management of the central bank. That's my phone. I don't know why this split here, but whatever it did. So there he is, and he's got his receipts. So I just wanted to show you that there hasn't been Any more talk about Ali Alak stepping down? Nothing from Sudani. I was thinking he would come out and say, hey, the court says that. What did the court say? That, uh, yeah, he is age of retirement and yeah, he could retire, but it wasn't their place to make him, right? So, um, Sadani has not come out and said anything. They don't have a date for Integrity to interview him. He may have been interviewed by Interior because the finance minister and two other people went before the something of Interior and asked some questions, answered some questions rather. But I don't think the CBI governor was there. And like I said, I have not seen a date for him to go before Integrity. And that's what they're complaining. They still don't see, they don't have a date for that. And Sudani has not addressed anything. So we as representatives will continue to follow up on the issue and are committed to ending the assignment of the central bank governor if the violations, lack of transparency, and lack of transparency continue. So that's where that is. Still no budget schedules in the Gazette, and they have put out another one that had nothing to do with us, so we're still waiting for that. Iraq moves to profit sharing in new oil contracts. So this is forward movement. This is a change for them. They seek to attract more investment in its oil and gas industry by moving to profit-sharing contracts for new bid rounds from the technical service contracts it has awarded so far. So we'll see if they get more bids. All right, so the rest of this is military stuff. Well, not Romanowski confirms that her country, so Alina Romanowski, right, confirms that her country is looking forward to deepening its security relations with the Kurdistan government. There was one thing, like Bittner, Stephen Bittner, I believe that's his name. I'm going by memory. He's something, U.S. ambassador of something to Iraq. He went and met with Kurdistan. He met with Daddy Barzani and Nephew Barzani. As far as I can tell, he has not yet to meet with Sudani. But Sudani was very busy. Let me see. He was out opening factories, schools, even did some by video. He's out doing stuff like that. So maybe he just didn't have time to meet with that guy, but I thought it was interesting. He went to Kurdistan first. All right. So here, Iraqi factions movements are under surveillance in anticipation of targeting Ice Cream Land. Oh, you know what? There is one thing. Well, I'm sure you guys follow, if you care about it, because it's all in the news. Everyone's news, right? The whole world's watching and waiting to see what Iran is going to do, right? Or not do. Oh, yeah, so let me tell you really quick. This could be one reason why they're not acting. Well, okay, because, Iran would shoot Ice Cream Land, right? But then Ice Cream Land's going to shoot back, right? So what's going on in Iraq? Well, it's Iran and Iraq, but it's going to end in Iraq, is this holiday where they walk to some mosque, what's the word with an S? Shrine? Something. I don't know what they call it, but that's where they end up. So it's 40 days. So it's been an ongoing thing, and they walk. So any rockets or bombs or whatever that go off where they weren't supposed to could hit these walkers. Pilgrims is what they call them. So that could be why, This is a holy time. It's a mostly Shia. If you look it up on Google, because I did, someone asked me a question, so I had to look it up. So it's a mostly Shia celebrated thing, and yeah, so that's happening. And the actual holiday is the 21st through the 26th. Well, according to articles in Iraq, okay, because if you Google it, you're going to get something else. That's their time. The governance, Wasit, will be shut down for 5 days, the 21st to the 26th. Now, as we get closer, other governance may say, oh, yeah, we're going to shut down our working hours for that day, too. But right now, it's just the people walking there. And, yeah. So that's why I don't think, I mean, you guys know my time is January anyway, but I don't, if they were going to change their money, it's not going to be during August. They're expecting anywhere from 5 to 15 million, depending on what article you read, visitors. Visitors, which would mean money out of country, right? So that's why they have complaints about getting dollars. But anyway, so yeah, all right. So here even Maliki he said this too. It is too late to back down from bombing the bombing that happened where some of our soldiers were hurt. Washington denies withdrawing U.S. forces and Baghdad announces postponing the date. So in an interview, Maliki was like, well, yeah, you messed it up. We were talking, they were going to announce this September, right? They were going to announce that they'd start leaving next September. But now, since you bombed them and hurt, maybe even killed one, they're gonna postpone their leaving, right? So that's where that is. That's the latest on that. So, and that is a pretty long article if you want to read that. So that's where we are. See, nothing exciting. But I just, like I said, it had been 7 days, and I just wanted to show you those two articles. So I've done that, so I'm going to exit. So, but first, I will say, accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals. Pay all your bills. If there's a join, follow, subscribe, whatever button of that nature, wherever you're enjoying this content, click that, tap that, swipe that, whatever action it takes to activate it. Because I don't update regularly, as you can see. Remember, I'm not a professional. And if technology works as it is supposed to, when I do update, you'll be notified. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon. I did say this was Saturday. I did not. This is Saturday, August 17th, 2024. And it is early enough where this should post for August 17th also. All right. Thank you for listening. If I have new subscribers, thank you. I'm just trying to help people hang in there. I do fully believe in this. I just don't see it happening right now. All right. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you're enjoying this content. And until next time.